My story there and my role in evangelizing that is not all that different than OpenStack. It's me trying to paint a picture of a world where open is a better story because open means the ecosystem can collaborate on things instead of sort of be beholden to one organization or one company's vision of the future. We can all have our vision.
Sure.
We can, really do things in the open. Rackspace is a company that doesn't really have much to hide, and I think transparency is one of our core values at Rackspace, and participating in OpenStack, participating in Open Compute, both of those are transparency to the extreme because we're putting our code out there, we're contributing our designs, we're adopting those, and it means that for our customers, we're really competing further up the stack. We're not competing on having the best technology because we're going to have the same technology. We're going to have the same technology as the guy down the street did, just like we did when the world was Linux and Windows and Dell servers and Cisco firewalls. We had all the same hardware. We had all the same data centers. What we did better than anybody else in the world was operated those things. We made sure our uptime was better and our performance was better and our customers were happier and we had better expertise than the guys down the street. And I think that's what we want to do in the era of cloud computing as well.
Makes good sense. One of the interesting things that came out of Open Compute last week, of course, was the Open Rack. From an infrastructure point of view, do you see Rackspace, embracing that? I know you evangelize that, but embracing that, and is that a rip and replace? Because these are different size racks all of a sudden.
Well, we probably won't replace anything that's in place today until its lifetime is kind of done.
Sure.
But if we go out and build a new data center and that design makes sense for us, we'll certainly adopt it. There's nothing inherently, we're not necessarily for or against, we're not religious about some design. We want to adopt the most efficient and most flexible design that we can, and if this is what the vast majority of cloud operators and massive social networks are sort of adopting, we'll certainly consider it. But we're not necessarily going to take everything that Open Compute does and just say, well, if Open Compute's doing it, we have to adopt it, verbatim, lock, stock, and barrel. Has to be exactly. Sure. We're going to inject a lot of our own thinking into it. In fact, that's when we got involved in Open Compute. Facebook sent me a message of, they didn't send me an email, they sent me a Facebook message, by the way. So he sent me a message and said, would you guys like to get involved in this? It would be a collaboration. You guys, would be involved in helping design, what the servers are going to look like in the future. And absolutely we want to be involved in that. But it doesn't mean that we have to take the vanilla Open Compute server as is off the shelf and use that for our design. We'll certainly inject our own needs and our own requirements into it because ours are going to be different than Facebook's.
Good. Now, I know you mentioned you're not competing on the hardware. So when you're looking at hardware, and I know that's an acquisition kind of thing, is there an underlying strategy then to Whitebox your equipment?
We've been using Whitebox for a long time. Since 1999, we've been using Whitebox. Now we do use Dell,
sure,
but we use a heck of a lot of Whitebox. We have different customers that have different needs. Some of our high-end enterprise customers like a brand name. They like some of the manageability functions that the servers have that come from Dell or HP or others. But a lot of our customers don't care what brand is on the server. They don't know what's branded on the server.
Sure.
And in fact, with cloud computing, it's all abstracted completely anyway. So we have very much embraced a white box strategy in the cloud, and I foresee that will continue to happen. Now the white box might come from a Dell, but it'll still be a white box. They have a whole division. I don't know if we disclose who we buy from, but we buy a lot of Dell servers for our traditional enterprise business. I don't know who we've disclosed on the cloud side, but Dell and HP and others all have these divisions that they've set up to sort of create the equivalent of the white box
Makes sense, and that's just a question of cost at that point because it's commodity hardware for you.
Commodity hardware.